Rochester has been pretty persistent in the past couple years of putting a magnifying glass up to some of its landmarks, from the historic Corn Tower to the Pill Hill neighborhood, and now it's discussing Indian Heights Park. Our Sananda McCall joins us now live in studio with why city leaders are taking a look at the park's history. Sananda.
Hey Cammie, well, if you've never heard of Indian Heights Park in Rochester, well, it's becoming a talking point as of lately. The city's Heritage Preservation Commission and community members are discussing the possibility of designating it as a historical landmark.
I'm very excited to hear that you're going to be discussing the possibility of landmarking it both locally and nationally.
I'm just hoping that we can get a little information about how long it'll take and stuff like that.
Enthusiasm is in place as talks are reigniting and potentially making Rochester's Indian Heights Park a historic landmark. But the designation process is only in its early stages, beginning with the criteria.
Just generally, its association with Dakota people who lived in this area prior to Euro-American migration.
Its value to a living community, in addition to the area's history as a Dakota burial place, is what brings this Northwest Rochester Park into discussion of historical significance.
Many groups and people use the park. You'd be amazed, but they all recognize the value of it for its historical significance.
So what's first? Research, which officially gained a boost during the COVID pandemic when the Rochester Heritage Preservation Commission hired on the Olmsted County History Center. From there, they discovered real stories.
Pretty sad account, actually, of a woman who was talking about growing up in the area and her recollection of the graves being desecrated. So there's some very sensitive things that we are dealing with here. I think it's really important that I have folks from the local Dakota community help me kind of through some of that.
And an ethnographic study completed earlier this year helping to gain further insight. Local criteria for the designation would include having heritage or cultural characteristics. National guidelines to be recognized as a traditional cultural place would include cultural continuity and historical integrity.
This is where, right, I really want to have a consultant help me put this together.
If Indian Heights Park is designated as a historic landmark, it would formally recognize its Dakota burial site history and help preserve its cultural significance. The park would remain open, but future changes would be carefully managed to honor its heritage. The ethnographic study suggests that Indian Heights Park should be considered for both local and national historic status, with research done at the same time by one expert or team. Cammie?
Sananda, so I guess my question would be, what about the protections for Native American burial grounds? Why is this currently not already designated as such?
Well, that is a question, the same question I've been trying to gather information on. The Private Cemeteries Act deems it a felony to willfully disturb a burial ground, but Indian Heights Park is not marked. I'm gathering that in order for it to be marked, physical evidence of remains is typically needed, and desecration by settlers years ago, and the query will make that hard. Now, the Dakota tribe could also help with this, but many tribal leaders do not want to alter the graves of any further that is out of respect.
Okay, very interesting. Sananda, thank you so much. And during tonight's meeting, we also learned that the first official mention of the Indian burial ground in Rochester was in a 1918 newspaper article.